Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Welcome to Bitcoin Bulletin, where we bring you the latest news and analysis on the world of cryptocurrency. Today, we're diving into a fascinating story about the divergence between Bitcoin and Ethereum in the market and how it's being driven by changes in ETF flows. So, what's been going on with these exchange-traded funds? Well, for those who may be new to investing in crypto through ETFs, think of them as a way for traditional investors to get into digital assets without having to navigate the complexities of wallets and exchanges. And it looks like Bitcoin and Ethereum have both been benefiting from this trend, but in different ways. Let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin. As you can see, the total balance of its spot ETFs has actually cooled off recently, ending a streak of positive flows that had been going on for a while. In fact, just last week, we saw net outflows occur instead of inflows, which is a pretty big deal. Now, it's worth noting that this isn't necessarily bad news for Bitcoin. After all, the spot ETFs did get approval from the SEC back in January 2024, and they've been steadily growing ever since. But what's interesting is how Ethereum has continued to attract inflows, even as Bitcoin has seen some cooling off. For Ethereum, it's been a pretty impressive run. The total balance of its spot ETFs has been on the rise for 4 straight weeks now, with 97,800 ETH entering into these wallets during that time alone. And despite not quite hitting the 3.81 million ETH peak from February, the trend is still looking positive. But here's where things get interesting. Glassnode, an on-chain analytics firm, has been keeping a close eye on this trend, and they're noting that accumulation is steady, but room remains for further upside. That means there could be some potential for Ethereum to keep on climbing if investors continue to take notice of its spot ETFs. Now, let's take a look at where Bitcoin stands right now. With the recent cooling off in flows, the total balance of its spot ETFs has actually decreased, which might be a sign that we're seeing a bit of a pause in demand after a strong run-up. And it's worth noting that this is just the second negative week for the BTC ETFs in 8 weeks. So what does this all mean? Well, for one thing, it's clear that Ethereum has been attracting more attention from investors than Bitcoin lately. But at the same time, we still need to keep an eye on Bitcoin to see if it can recover and start growing its spot ETF holdings again. As always, we'll be keeping a close eye on these developments and bringing you updates as we get them. And that's all for today's episode of Bitcoin Bulletin. If you want to stay ahead of the curve in the world of cryptocurrency, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.